Oil prices have risen, at one point hitting $100 a barrel yet again as attacks on shipping continue in the Middle East. And despite dozens of countries announcing they would release record amounts of emergency reserves. In the latest attacks, 2 tankers were hit near Iraq. The Iraqi news agency reports 38 crew members were rescued and 1 person has died. One other ship, a container carrier, was struck off the coast of the United Arab Emirates, close to the Strait of Hormuz. Donald Trump said the US would look strongly at the strait, which is a transit point for around 20% of the world's oil. You can see here how the flow of traffic has ground to a halt since the conflict began. The Israeli military says it has carried out an extensive wave of airstrikes on the Iranian capital, Tehran, in what it calls a new stage of the war. Israel also says it stepped up strikes on the Lebanese capital, Beirut, and targets associated with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. There have been a series of nighttime explosions in the city's southern suburbs. Some airstrikes also hit other parts of Beirut, including along the city's seafront. This is the scene over Beirut right now. Lebanese authorities say Israeli strikes have killed more than 600 people in 10 days. Meanwhile, Iran has continued its missile attacks on neighbouring states. This high-rise tower in Dubai has sustained some visible damage. The local government there said a drone fell on a building. It's not clear where the reported drone actually came from. And we are going to be hearing in the next hour from correspondents right around the region. But let us start with the Israeli strikes on the Lebanese capital and take you live to our correspondent Lina Sinjab in Beirut for us. Lina, just bring us up to date with what's happened there.
Well, probably yesterday was the worst since the war started almost 10 days ago here in Lebanon, with airstrikes, hammering different parts of the city, whether in the southern suburb of Beirut or in the south of the country. But most worrying are those that are coming unannounced in the center of Beirut. After midnight this morning, there was a strike on a vehicle right by the seaside in a up high, residential area that became home for hundreds of displaced people who are staying by the seaside, on the shores, parking their cars, setting up their tents, putting their mattresses on the pavement and or on the shores itself, to be struck by this attack, in the early hours of the morning, not knowing who is the target. And we believe at least 8 people were killed. We believe they are civilians. More than 30 have been injured. And these kind of attacks also that followed yesterday morning at 5 a.m. in a residential area, apartment blocks that was hit without a prior warning in the center of Beirut again. These kind of attacks are really scaring people that, the war is not contained. Hezbollah is not only the target. Civilians are trapped into this war and nowhere is safe in Lebanon. Many people I spoke to, they feel that what's happening is reminding them of the 2006 war that was prolonged and extended, where Beirut was, under attack. The infrastructure was under attack. And many fear this is the scenario that's happening, especially that Hezbollah is not stopping, is not attending to the government's calls and government's decisions, and continues firing, dozens of rockets into Israel, prompting this, attack on the country, where civilians are caught in the fire and losing lives and losing homes and losing hopes for safety and stability.
Is there anywhere that civilians could go? We were speaking in the last hour to someone from the UNHCR. The aid agency is obviously trying to help too. Are there any safe options for people to flee whilst this attack happens from Israel, who are targeting Hezbollah?
Well, the government has prepared, schools have been turned into shelters. The UN are stepping in. Some public stadiums are being prepared. But the problem really here, and that's what many people I'm talking to are concerned about, is that, some members of Hezbollah or members of the Iranians are among the civilians. The attack that happened earlier this week at a hotel in the also center of Beirut, not far from the second attack that happened in the early hours from the morning. Basically, it was a hotel, a 5-star hotel, where, those who fled the war have sought refuge and have rented to stay safe. But Israel targeted members of the Revolutionary Guard, according to the Israelis. 2 days ago, the Iranian government came out to announce at least 4 diplomats killed in that attack. And people are now worried about who is around them, who is staying in this school that is behind their house, or who is parking a car next to them, or who's in the tent, in front of them. Could be a member of Hezbollah. Is he on the wanted list? So really, these kind of attacks are scaring people, and there's nowhere to run away, and making everyone suspicious of their own surroundings. Unless you trust the people you know themselves, their relatives, their neighbors that you've known for years, people are really suspicious on who are the newcomers who might bring a missile with them or an attack with them.
And Lina, I know the politics is immensely complex there, but is it possible to say how much support there is for Hezbollah amongst the civilian populations that are affected?
Well, I think it's fair to say that Hezbollah is losing more and more their support, group and their support community. Because, 15 months ago in 2024, they are the same people who've been now been displaced and forced out of their homes and towns and villages. And over the past 15 months, many people argue that Israel have been breaking the ceasefire agreement, continued to target Hezbollah, continued to target its personnel and infrastructure. And Hezbollah did not respond at all. The only moment Hezbollah decided to respond is when the Israelis killed the Iranian Supreme Leader Khamenei, and they came out with a blunt statement to say we're acting, in response to the, in retaliation for Iran, and that's what's really prompting lots of anger here in Lebanon, not only from those who opposed Hezbollah, but those who supported them for a long time. They feel that they're caught in a battle that it's not theirs, and they are the ones who are paying the price.
Lina, thanks very much indeed, and we can see the picture of the skyline there in Beirut as we speak to you. Thank you very much. Well, in Dubai, a tower block was damaged by an apparent drone attack, as the Gulf states, of course, are also being targeted by Iran. The Emirate remains on high alert for further strikes. Our correspondent Nick Beak gave us an update on the situation there.
In the past hour or so, there were reports of loud explosions in downtown Dubai, one particularly loud boom, and what witnesses are saying is that they saw a drone fly past the International Financial Centre. Authorities are saying that there was an incident. They describe this as a minor drone incident in the Al-Badar area. If you look at that, it is near the financial district that we're talking about. We may get more details on that as the day progresses. No casualties are reported as a result of this. Overnight, we saw a previous attack where a drone had managed to get through to the heart of the city. This was the Dubai Creek Harbour area. What happened there was that a drone hit a skyscraper. There was a fire, there was smoke, and the whole building was evacuated. So lots of people brought outside. Again, no injuries. And come daylight, we were able to see the impact. Quite clear that the damage very high up on this building where the drone had hit. So this is a concern for people living here and the authorities. The message is to stay safe and to listen to the official message. We've heard lots of people saying they do feel safe here. But the reality is these attacks keep coming. And Citibank today saying that it's going to send all of its employees home. They'll be working from home. It's going to shut its offices, its banks, its premises here for now. And that's, of course, because Iran have said they're going to attack financial institutions, including American companies, as a retaliation to what's being done to them, they say.
And Nick, I mean, Dubai is, along with other hubs, is a massive centre for international travel. And the fact that this whole region is being affected is really affecting millions of people's travel plans, travelability, connectivity. It's not just for holidays, it's for, essential travel often, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And we had these 2 interceptions of drones near the airport yesterday. We don't know where exactly, authorities wouldn't say. But clearly for people in the airport at the time, that was worrying. For half an hour they were told to go in a place that was safe. We know some people already on their planes had to remain on the tarmac before the all clear was given. And operations were halted for a time but then resumed. And of course the airlines are desperately trying to clear this backlog following thousands of cancellations, Geeta. But when this keeps on happening, that's really difficult. Safety, of course, has to be the top priority for those airlines and those operating the airports.
Nick Beek there in Dubai. Well, in Israel, the IDF says there were 4 Iranian missile attacks overnight and multiple Hezbollah launches from Lebanon into northern Israel. Our Middle East Bureau Chief Joe Floto has the latest from Jerusalem.
In the last hour, we had another barrage of missiles from Iran launched to the central area of Jerusalem and the surrounding areas, but that was just the latest in a series of salvos that sent millions of people rushing to shelters overnight. I think that the difference last night was that some of these were coordinated with Hezbollah. That's the Shia militant group that's based in Lebanon, and they decided to escalate their action against Israel last night, sending hundreds of missiles over the border into northern Israel and beyond. And that looked like a meteor shower of missiles, and that will always overwhelm missile defences. No reports of casualties, some direct hits, but in response to that, Israel then decided to bomb dozens of targets, we understand, in Lebanon, several in Beirut. Some of those killed passers-by and bystanders, and already we have in Lebanon 700,000 or more people displaced from the south of the country and from the southern suburbs of Beirut, which are a stronghold for Hezbollah, and we've got a death toll that's rising beyond 600.
And what is the Israeli government saying about the operation in Lebanon in a way that is separate from what's going on in Iran?
Yeah, look, it's in some ways it's a sideshow, that the main conflict is between Israel and Iran, but this is related. Hezbollah joined this war last week when it was confirmed that the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had been killed. They are closely linked to Iran, they are funded by Iran, they are ideologically and religiously linked. And so they decided to join the war and fired missiles into Israel for the first time since that conflict between Israel and Hezbollah ended at the end of 2024. Israel has been saying for a long time that it's not satisfied with the situation in Lebanon, that it feels that it cannot put up with a threat from Hezbollah that's been rearming since that war ended, and for months now has been saying it would take matters into its own hands. I think the Hezbollah joining this war has allowed the Israeli military to carry out their plan to disarm and destroy what remains of Hezbollah's infrastructure. They've sent troops across the border. They hadn't actually left at the end of 2024. They had 5 encampments inside the Lebanese border. They have bolstered that with dozens and dozens of tanks and a couple of divisions of troops. And the talk now is to expand that ground operation to create a buffer zone well inside Lebanese territory. For some people, they want to go all the way up to the Litani River. But Israel first occupied Lebanon in 1982. That ended in an 18-year occupation, and that didn't go well for Israel. So people are watching this with bated breath. It is a target for the Israeli government and military, but we don't know where it's going to end up.
Joe Floto there. Let me just show you the latest pictures from Beirut, and the Israel Defence Minister is saying that it's ordered the army to prepare for expanding the Lebanon operations. So these are the latest pictures from Beirut as Israel says it is ordering for expanding the Lebanon operations.